I'm going to play through SolForge Fusion. So through my work, I got to attend the Gamma trade show last week, and I got to demo the SolForge Fusion game a little bit before it comes out. So I thought it'd be fun to get to the hands on some of my cards on the channel. I do have a Kickstarter backing that I made that will be on its way, and once it does, I'll be excited to do probably like the full tournament style video series that I've done for a couple other games on my channel so far, once I have more decks. But right now I have four half decks, or 4 decks. So the way you play is you're going to get 4 decks, which if you buy a starter set or a booster kit, you will get 4, one of each color, and you pick any 2 of them to combine. So conveniently, with 4 half decks, you already have enough for 2 players, and you'll also get 2 paper playmats that you can play with. And they do have labels on them. I'm going to be kind of ignoring the labels. I have the playmats without the labels right now. So I like to put my deck on the left. So I'm just kind of put stuff where I want, but you will have paper playmats that serve as a guideline to start you out. And now, as I tested out the game so far, my first pairing was I put the blue and the green decks together because, like I said, you take 2 half decks and you force them together to make your Forge deck. So I thought the blue and green was pretty good. I also, the red and purple, I had those 2 pairs at the same time, and the red and purple deck was very aggressive. So that was nice too. I also played a bit with the blue and purple deck together, which had some really good spell synergies. So as you can see, just making all different kinds of pairings can give you a lot of different options, and the more half decks you get, or you can find the right one to match with your favorite style of play. For example, this deck has a couple cards that care about having mages specifically, so if you find another pairing that has multiple mages in it, that could be really good. Sorry, I misspoke. I think this is the mage one, but regardless, you know what I mean. This one has like a warrior theme, but they're all different kinds of themes, like spells or gaining health or different stuff. So today I'm going to play with the blue and red against the green and purple, which I haven't done before. So these are going to be shuffled up. I've already set them up over there. Now, when you do combine 2 decks, you do have to choose which Forgeborn will be your used Forgeborn. So let's actually take a closer look at one of them. Let's just take a look at... Actually, I think we're going to play with Oros. So let's look at Oros here. And you see Oros, and he's got 3 abilities there: Shapeshift, Bark Skin, and Growth Aura. And we'll get into those later because they're not going to come into play right off the bat. They're going to be usable during the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th cycle of the game. And of course, we're starting in the 1st cycle, so you won't be able to use any of them. On the back is the deck list. So every hero comes with their unique deck list. There's no other deck in the world that is the same, and the decks are not changeable. As you can see, this deck is named Animals of Squeezing and Bashing. And if we were to pull a card out of that deck, we would see that at the bottom it says Animals of Squeezing and Balancing. So you can't mix those cards up with any other green deck. These are always going to be part of this deck in particular. And this is a unique QR code that matches up to the deck. So when you buy 2 decks, you're getting 2 completely unique decks. And then there's more some stuff going on, but I'm not going to get into all of it. I'm mostly going to focus on playing, which means we do need to select one of the 2 Forgeborn for this green-purple deck, and I'm going to play with Oros. So I'm just going to put Cercee down underneath. We're not going to need her, and we'll put over here Oros with 50 starting health. And then for this side, I'm going to show you a little bit more of the setup. So we are going to play with Steel Rosetta. And you can see her deck list is on the back if you're interested in that kind of thing. But for now, let's just look at her Steel Rosetta. Now, there are multiple Steel Rosettas in the game. I think there are a couple heroes per color. So a lot of people who get, everybody's going to get a blue deck, and there's probably going to be a bunch of Steel Rosettas. Just nobody's Steel Rosetta deck is going to be the same as this one. And in fact, these 3 abilities are not even the same between different copies of Steel Rosetta. You can get a different mix of different power levels of those abilities. So her first ability lets me use the ability of my unused Forgeborn. So in this case, I actually am going to keep Korok nearby and just slide them like that so that I can see that cycle 2 ability is available. Now you'll see I've got 6 piles here. These were the Steel Rosetta cards, and these are the Korok cards. What I'm going to do is, you can kind of set this up how you want, whatever is most convenient, but what I like to do is make a level 3 pile. So I'm going to put all the level 3 cards together, although I kept the blue ones on the top and the red ones on the bottom, because I'm going to need to search this stack later, and make a level 3 pile. And then do the same thing with your level 2 cards. Make a level 2 pile. And your level 1 cards form your starting deck. So I'm going to shuffle these together, these level 1 cards. And this is going to be my starting deck. And I've already done that for the purple-green player, the Oros. And we've also got this SolForge card, the Forge. So this is basically just an indicator style token. It's got the colored side and the gray side. And that will indicate who is the current Forge player. And I'm going to start with the Forge player over here, just because that's more convenient for me, sitting here and all. So now that I've shuffled up my level 1 deck, and again, I like to put my deck on my left. If I were playing with the paper playmats, labeling it would all be different spots, but just bear with me. And I'm going to draw 5 cards to start out the game. Now, that player would also draw 5 cards, but I'll draw their hand when I play their turn. And I'm basically going to start, we actually share a turn and take turns performing one action at a time, or one primary action, depending on how you want to look at it. And I'm actually going to start out by playing this pretty cool card here. This is the Everflame Phoenix. It has mobility 1 and aggressive. Now, aggressive means that it's going to be played into the front row always. However, because I'm the Forge player, I'm playing it into the front row anyway. So aggressive isn't really going to do anything in this case. Mobility 1, I'm also not going to use right now, but it would mean that I could move it later on in the turn, perhaps. It has 6 attack and 4 health. So for now, I'm just going to put it in the middle and put it right up front. And now that the Steel Rosetta player has played their first action, the Oros player will get to perform 1 action on this side. And whoever has the Forge currently is basically going to be the aggressive player in a lot of ways, because they're playing their creature to the front row. And after we've both taken 2 actions, we're going to resolve combat, and anything in the front row is going to attack. And if there's anything in the other side of the table, they're going to deal damage to each other. If there's nothing on the other side of the table, they're going to hit the player directly against their health. However, as the non-active Forge player, if I play something into the back row, and the Forge player does not have anything in that lane, it does not damage them directly. So because I can't really deal player damage this turn necessarily, I probably want to focus more on blocking. So what I'm looking at right now is, do I have any creatures that deal at least 4 damage in order to be able to kill this Phoenix? And I think I will play the Shardplate Delver. So it's got Breakthrough, which in this case, again, is not going to matter, because Breakthrough means any damage it deals in excess to the creature it's fighting is going to hit the player, except for that since it's going to be in the back row, that will not be an effect. It also has a deploy ability, which is if it replaces a creature, it will get +3/+3, because only 1 creature can be per player per lane. You can play a creature to the same lane where you already have a creature, thus replacing the previous creature. And that would give this Shardplate Delver +3/+3. Obviously, that's not the case either. So basically, I'm playing it for that 5 attack there, because 5 attack is going to be enough to take out the 4 health. However, I've forgotten something super important. As soon as you play a card, first thing you want to do is go into your the next level stack. So this is a level 1 card, so I'm going to go into my level 2 stack and find the same card that I just played, except for in the level 2 form, and put it into my discard pile. So I'm going to put my discard pile right over here in the corner. And over the course of the game, we're actually going to reshuffle our discard pile to reform our deck. And so next time I draw that card, it's going to be the level 2 version. And I should have done that exact same thing for the Everflame Phoenix, putting that card into that player's discard pile. Now you'll notice that the level 1 Shardplate Delver and the level 2 Shardplate Delver have the same art. That is true of most of the cards in the game. However, the Everflame Phoenix does not look the same as its level 2 form, because there are some cards that are a little bit more unique and tell a story. So you can imagine that if the level 1 Phoenix is a cute little bird and the level 2 is nothing but ash, knowing what you probably know about Phoenix, you can guess at what the level 3 looks like. But for now, this is going to go into the discard pile, and that will end the inactive player's first action. So back on this side, I would like to play aggressively, I think. So I'm actually going to use the mobility ability. So the Everflame Phoenix can move between lanes 1 space away. In order to do that, I'm going to exhaust it to show that it can't use its mobility again this turn. But that does not impact its ability to deal or receive damage or anything like that. Also, that was a free action. So on your turn, you do one action, which generally means playing a card. But free actions such as mobility don't count against that, and you can do them before or after your main action. Hopefully we'll see some more exciting turns later on where you can see multiple free actions going on at once. So then I will also play a card. I'm going to play the Camouflaged Technician. So this is a creature that has stealth, and stealth is a keyword that means if the opponent has a creature in the back area of their lane, it actually will not fight against the Camouflaged Tactician. The Tactician can get right past it and ignore it. So very aggressive. We got to use mobility to move out of the way, and our Tactician has stealth. So again, first thing I need to do is grab the upgraded card and put that into my discard pile. But I think the Oros player has an okay solution. None of these three cards are going to be great for us right now. But we can play this Vine Lash. So there are only two card types in SolForge other than the Forgeborn themselves, which are the creatures, and then here we have a spell. So again, first thing we need to do is upgrade it by putting the level 2 version into our discard pile. But as we resolve this card, it says that one of my creatures battles an enemy creature. So I'm going to have the Shardplate Delver battle the Camouflage Technician, which means they're going to deal damage to each other. 5 attack is going to go against the 5 health and kill the Tactician. And the 5 attack here is going to go against the 6 health here, which does not kill my Delver. However, it will reduce it to 1 health, and that is a permanent change. All the health and attack changes in this game are permanent. So on this side, I'm going to have giant dice, and on that side, I'm going to have more reasonably sized dice just because how many red and green dice I have available. But that is going to kill the Camouflage Tactician. Now, keep in mind, we've already upgraded this Tactician, meaning the level 2 version is in the discard pile, which means this one, we're actually done with it. It's dead, and it's gone, and it's going to go into the banish pile, which I'm going to put there. It's not coming back. It's gone for the entire game. Similarly, this spell has done its job, and it is now banished and gone for the entire game, again, because the upgrade is now here for next time. And that concludes the action part of this turn here, and so all that's left to do is resolve combat. Now, all the lanes resolve simultaneously, though because we're humans, we're going to resolve them one at a time, except for, again, this one's not going to be very complicated. So it's going to be 6 attack against no opponent, which means the Oros player is going to go down to 46, or rather 44, if I can do my math properly. And because the Shardplate Delver is in the back row, it's not going to do anything. It's got nothing to fight against. That's it. So we can ready our cards. We're going to discard the remaining cards in our hand and draw a new 5 cards for the next turn. In addition, the Forge passes to the other player. And the newly active Forge player's creatures can all slide forward, so they now will be in the aggressive position for the end of this turn. I think hopefully we're going to play a kind of cool turn here, one action at a time, of course, starting out with this Darkheart Sorcerer. It's got only 2 attack, but 8 health. It has a Defender keyword, which means it's going to go in the back row even though we're in the Forge player, and it's never going to move forward. Defender means it just hangs back. You can still fight another creature if the opponent has a front row creature in the same lane, but otherwise we're going to be playing it for its ability, which says when we play a spell, deal 2 damage to a player, and we gain 2 health. However, we don't really have any spells right now because we've already done our action. We do need to level it up, so we'll put the level 2 Darkheart Sorcerer into our discard pile. But it looks like the Steel Rosetta player has some cool stuff lined up as well. So we're going to start out with Energy Surge as the first action on this side. It says a couple of things. One is play a Gizmo minion. If you buy a starter set, you're going to have gizmos. So basically we get a Gizmo minion. We can play this like a creature into the lane we want. And I think I will put it in this lane, but again, because we're the inactive Forge player, it's going to go into the back row. It also says upgrade a card in our hand and discard it. So upgrade means, just like normal, we're going to take one of these cards and put it into the Vanish Zone and get the upgraded version. But then we have to discard it. So if it didn't say we had to discard it, then we would actually have upgraded a card in our hand. But in this case, we are upgrading the Energy Surge itself, which will go to our discard pile, and we're also discarding this upgraded card. And this, as a spell, can then go to our banished pile. And now, the Oros player is going to play their own spell, which is Pax Blessing. We can choose one to give a creature +3/+3, or make a Wisp token and give it +3/+3. So let's not forget to upgrade our Pax Blessing, putting the level 2 version in the discard pile. And then we're making this Wisp token, which let's put up here into the front. Actually, let's let it block that Phoenix Instead of playing aggressively, we're already behind on life, so let's put it here so it'll fight the Phoenix. And it does get +3/+3, so it's going to be a 5 attack and 5 health Wisp. Because we have Darkheart Sorcerer, though, we get to deal 2 damage to a player and gain 2 health because of its ability. So we'll go up to 46 and put them down to 48. And then, even though we would normally be done here, because we've done our action for the turn, we also have Xerath's Will, which is a spell that says we can play a mindless zombie minion, but if we've gained health this turn, it's free. And free means it doesn't take our action. So we actually get to play an extra card. Xerath's Will also be leveled up. And we get a zombie. So we can put this out wherever we want. And I guess let's put that one up front. And because that's another spell, we will gain another 2 health and deal another 2 to our opponents, switching the scores. And then these can go to our banish zone. But as I said, the Steel Rosetta player has some cool stuff of their own. So we're going to play this Stabilizing Sculptor. Go ahead and level it up before we do anything else. It's got 2 abilities, so it's got 1 attack and 5 health, which is not amazing. But it says deploy, which means as we play it, we can replace. If it replaced a creature, we can play a level 1 spell for free. And in addition, we can return a creature to its printed attack and health. So it's a pretty strong card, and we're going to actually replace this Gizmo, which was our token from our previous action. It says when a creature replaces this, give it +2/+2. So Stabilizing Sculptor is going to go from 1 up to 3 attack and from 5 up to 7 health. And that token is now gone. It doesn't count as being destroyed, but it was replaced. Because of this Sculptor's second ability, we get to restore a creature to its printed attack and health. So let's just take these dice off of that Wisp there. And because of the first ability, we get to play a spell for free. And we're going to play the Staff of Varus. It gives a creature +5 attack. And if we play it on a mage, we can deal 3 damage to a creature. So let's give Stabilizing Sculptor +5 attack. And because it is a mage, we can deal 3 damage to a creature, which could finish off the Delver or just straight out kill the zombie. So this turn, though, right after we finish our action here, these 2 creatures are going to fight, and the Sculptor is going to survive because this is a 5 attack against our 7 health, and we'll kill the Delver anyway. And we wouldn't deal damage to it if we killed it, deal damage to our opponent if we killed the Delver because we're in the back row right now. So it might make sense just to take out the zombie, or it might make sense to prevent 5 health from being lost off our Sculptor. But I think I'm just going to take out the token because it's like a full card kind of, and we don't want to forget to upgrade our staff, so I'll go ahead and throw that upgrade into the discard pile. And we're actually not done yet because we can still use mobility, and let's put the Phoenix into an empty lane. We'll let the Wisp hit us for 2, and we're going to get in for 6 there. So with this combat will resolve. The 6 against our opponent will put them down to 42. The Wisp against our 2 will put us down to 44, and these 2 will fight, so the Delver will be killed, and this Sculptor will be down to 2 health. So that's banished. And that was the end of the second turn. So let's flip the Forge back and discard whatever remains in our hand. This time, normally you've got 5 cards and you can only play 2 of them, meaning 3 of them don't get upgraded. But in this case, we actually were able to play an upgrade, or not play, but we were able to upgrade 4 of our cards. Only 1 of them is being discarded, which is a nice feeling to have. So let's grab 5 new cards and play our turn 3 first action. We do want to slide this up. Let's go ahead and play Arrogant Glider. So it's a 4 attack and 5 health dinosaur, but when we deploy it, if it's unopposed, it gets +4 attack. So I'll upgrade it. And I could put it here, or I could move the Phoenix and then put it here. If I want that +4 attack, which I do. Let's leave the Phoenix for now, though, and put the Glider in this position. And I think I want to play the Hibernating Bartak. So I kind of have a cool hand, but might not get to realize its full potential here. But we're going to play this guy. It's a 2/5, and when he's deployed, my next creature this turn gets +2/+2. And remember, a turn is each player taking 2 actions in the shared turn. So 2 attack is going to be enough to finish off the Sculptor. So I'm going to put it into this column here and upgrade it. And Steel Rosetta's hand is not great, and she's got an interesting option, which is to leave the Phoenix here or move it. And this is her last opportunity because Once she passes for the Oros player to take their second action of the turn, after they do so, that will resolve combat. So as the Forge player, we've got to decide, even for our minor or free actions, how to use them before our opponent gets the final say. I think we will move it. We still have this really nice attack going through, and I'm going to make another one. So I'm going to move the Phoenix, let it fight the Wisp, and I'm going to play this Steadfast Wurm, because we know the Phoenix is likely to survive. It's only 2 damage against the Phoenix's 4 health. And so let's throw this 1 health creature into this lane here, attacking for 7. And our opponent, with their last action, is going to have to deal with this 6 or 8-point attack and a 7-point attack. And in addition to that, we'll have this Phoenix surviving. So we'll play the Steadfast Wurm here, and don't forget to upgrade it. That is going to be a little bit hard here on the Oros player. They're probably going to take a bunch of damage, but we can do something about it, which is that we're going to play the Uterra Charger, which when it's deployed is going to have it battle another creature. And we can battle that Everflame Phoenix as a 6/4 because the Charger, even though it says 5/5, we're getting +2/+2 from this Bartok ability. So we've got a 7/7, so we can have it fight the Phoenix and survive with 1 health. All the other creatures have even more than, at least 7 health. So this is the smallest attack actually thing that we can take out. The question is, what lane do we want to put it in? And it would probably be this glider, because the Wurm is hitting for 7, but it only has 1 health, so it's easier to deal with later. Whereas the glider is hitting for 8 and has more health. But the Bartok, or the Charger, is going to be in a nice position to be able to deal its damage twice this turn. So we're going to put its health up to 7 and its attack up to 7 as well. Immediately fight due to his ability with the Phoenix, so that will take out the Phoenix and deal 6 health to the Charger, putting it down to 1. And since that was our second action, that will resolve the combat. So we are going to take 7 here, going down to 35. The Wisp is going to deal 2, putting them down to 42. Bartok deals 2 to Sculptor, which will kill it, and the Sculptor will deal 8 to Bartok, which will kill it. So these can both go into their respective banish piles. And then similarly, we have 7 going against 5 and 8 going against 1. So these will also trade. And then the Darkheart Sorcerer, even though we kind of have passed back for a while, you would think it would move up because of that defender. It's always going to stay in the back row. And that actually does end that turn. So we would discard and redraw as you might expect. However, something different happens here because there's only 5 cards left in your deck. You actually never draw the last 5 cards. At this point, we change to cycle number 2, and we take our discard pile with all of our leveled up cards and combine that with the remnants of our deck and reshuffle to enter cycle 2. We will switch the Forge. And now the Forgeborn's level 2 abilities are available. So again, Oros has the ability that we can give a creature +3/+3, and it gains all creature types this turn. And still, Rosetta can copy the unused Forgeborn, which is Korok's lightning speed ability, to give your creatures +2 attack, and they gain aggressive this turn, which means if you're not the Forge player, you can slide all your back row creatures up into the front. So I'll resolve Steel Rosetta's cycle in a moment, but let me just start out with Oros's first turn here. And as you can see, we've actually drawn 3 of our upgraded cards out of our 5 cards. So we can choose, do we want to play a level 1 card and upgrade it for later, or we can play a level 2 card and upgrade that for later, pulling out from our level 3 stack. I think I'm just going to go big, so I'm going to play the Pax Blessing. This time it is a level 2 Pax Blessing, so we're going to make a Wisp and give it +6/+6. We could try to block the Wurm. The 8 health it will have was bigger than the 7 attack, or we could play to a different lane and just be aggressive. And I think we are a little bit behind, but I am going to put it here in the middle and be a little bit more aggressive. So let's make that an 8. And that was a spell, so Darkheart Sorcerer will trigger. We go up to 37 and knock them down to 40 even. And of course, we don't want to forget to upgrade to the level 3 this time. There we go, straight into the discard pile. Put this into Banish. So I've cycled Steel Rosetta's deck and drawn the hand. I think we're going to play the Armored Inventor. So this is to attack and 2 health. It has 2 armor, which means the first 2 damage each turn that she would take is prevented. And when she's deployed, we get a gizmo. So we saw the gizmos before. Question is, where do we put these things? I'm going to put her here because the 2 armor is going to prevent the damage from the wisp. I'll mark that with the purple die on 2. And I think let's block this 8 damage. Oh, these actually go in the back row. And of course we have to upgrade her. But that Armored Inventor is not long for this world because we're going to play the Shardplate Delver level 2, which has Breakthrough, which will be mattering this time. And we're going to replace this Wisp in order to give the Delver +5/+5. So it's going to be a 10-11 with Breakthrough. And our opponent has already committed a creature to that lane, so they're probably going to be taking a bunch of damage. And we can grab the level 3 Shardplate Delver. But at least Steel Rosetta is getting in for 7. So I think we're just going to play this level 2 Steadfast Wurm, which has the massive 15 attack and the 8 health. And we're going to... actually, I was thinking I would play it here, but because it's in the back row and this is in the back row, neither of them would initiate a fight. And the Worm actually would not be able to kill the Sorcerer unless we're willing to use this ability to give our creatures aggressive. But that's just going to be a little bit more damage on both of those creatures, which are going to completely trounce these guys. And it's just 2 more, just dealing 9 instead of 7. But it would mean that we get to kill that Darkheart Sorcerer this turn. Or we can ignore the Darkheart Sorcerer, put the Worm here, and give it aggressive, and just have our opponent take it a surprise 19 damage, 15 plus 4 from these unblocked creatures. You know what? I think that's more than half their life, so let's do that instead. So I'm going to put this in the back row, upgrade it to level 3. So now it has an 18-9 in our discard pile, but we are going to use our Forgeborn. So again, we're using Steel Rosetta's Cycle 2 ability, which says Inspire. She has the Cycle 2 ability of your unused Forgeborn, and our unused Forgeborn is Korok, whose Cycle 2 ability is Lightning Speed. Give your creatures +2 attack. This turn they get aggressive. So we're going to tap her to show that we've used that. We don't need to see Korok anymore because we're done with him, basically. And we're sliding all of these to the front, them +2. And there are different ways to track the attack and health. I like to use dice, and here I've run out of the little dice because my attack values got so big. Although the starter kit does come with little mini cards that you can use. I'm going to use the dice for now, and we'll be able to resolve this in a second. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 15, 21, 24 unblocked damage, which puts Oros down to the very precarious 13. And simultaneously, these creatures will deal damage to each other. So this can be 10 damage against the Armored Inventor's 2 armor. So she will take 8, which is plenty to kill her with her 2 health. And she'll deal 4 damage back, so putting this down to 7. And then the 8 against the 2 will kill it, and 4 against this will put it down to 4. We can flip the Forge back, discard our remaining cards in hand, and draw 5 for Cycle 2, Turn 2. So Steel Rosetta taking the first action here on this turn. I'm going to start with this level 1 Blizzard Shaman. So I will upgrade it, although this game is going pretty quickly. We might not see too many more upgrades, too many more turns here, depending on how things go. I'm not really planning to use its activated ability. So activate like mobility would mean to tap the creature to show that it's been used. It will still attack and fight and everything, but you can just only activate it or tap it once per turn. But I'm mostly going to play it as, because it's a mage and there's a card in my hand that will hopefully make that worth it. You can guess what that might be. But dealing 2 damage would kill my little worm here and would not really get me much headway on the other side. So for now, I'm just playing it because it is a mage. And I don't have a lot of spaces left, but I think I'm going to play this Necrotic Fiend. So I've got 3 lanes filled and 2 lanes with massive creatures coming in. So I need to block both those lanes, and hopefully these lanes will deal damage. Darkheart Sorcerer is nice, but he's a little bit of a liability now because I can't do much here unless I'm willing to replace him. But hopefully I can still get some useful triggers out of him. And so the Necrotic Fiend has 2 abilities when it's destroyed. One is it's going to give something +2/+2, and the other is that I will get a zombie. So we'll put that, I think, right here to block this worm. But Steel Rosetta is going to make Oros pivot a little bit here because we're going to give +10 to our Blizzard Shaman with his level 2 Staff of Varus, putting him up to 13 attack. And since he's a mage, we get to deal 5 damage to a creature, which will be this wisp that was conveniently in the way. So we'll level up the Staff of Varus to level 3. And yeah, now our opponent's got, again, 2 massive creatures coming in, both of which are actually lethal. And I don't love this sequence, but I think we have to do it to stay alive. So I'm going to play Blight Witch here. And she's a 3/6, level 1, so we'll upgrade her to level 2. And she says that we can activate her, tap her to destroy another one of our creatures to play a level 1 spell for free. So we will do that. We're going to tap her and destroy this Necrotic Fiend to play a level 1 spell. I assume we have to resolve the spell before these triggers resolve. I'm not 100% sure on the timing of that. I read about triggers and batches, and that makes sense, but I'm not sure about triggers that happen from this. So I'm going to play this the way I believe it would work. So we're going to destroy this to play level 1 spell. We have to play the level 1 spell as part of this resolution, so that would be before we play that. So we're going to play Infernal Ritual, which is going to trigger Darkheart Sorcerer, but again, that's going to be a delayed trigger, a later batch of triggers, if you will. So we have to destroy one of our creatures to play 2 zombies, and then our zombies are going to get aggressive. So technically, she should actually be in the back. And we're going to have to destroy our Darkheart Sorcerer, unfortunately, but we're going to get 2 zombies from that effect, which I'm going to put here and here. But again, because they're gaining aggressive, they're going to slide forward. Now, we do get to upgrade this spell as well. It's another situation where we get to upgrade multiple things. And she's also a zombie, so she will also slide forward with the aggressive granted by that ritual. And then we're going to resolve the Necrotic Fiend's 2 triggers to give a creature +2/+2. I'm going to put it on the Blight Witch because that 5 attack is going to be enough to kill that shaman on the other side. And then when this is destroyed, we also get a zombie minion. So we'll get a zombie here, which actually will be in the back row because it wasn't in play when that other spell resolved. We still have another trigger, which is the very, very dead Sorcerer's ability is that the still trigger will happen, I believe. So we'll go up to 15 and knock them down to 38. Now this is the last action of this turn. So we can resolve combat or we can use Oros' Shapeshift ability. But I don't think +3/+3 is going to get us that far. And we still have 2 more turns in this cycle before that ability will basically expire. So I think we can let combat resolve, and this will deal 3 because of the aggressive. In addition, we've got 10 damage coming through here, so it's 13 from 38. We'll put them down to 25. We've got 3 going to 1 to kill it, and 9 going to 3 to kill it, so both of these will be dead, which is nice. A little zombie trading up there. We've got 5 against 4 will kill it, and 13 against 8. These will also trade. So these can go to our banish zones as well. And then 3 to 8 and 17 to 3, meaning this will go down to 5 health. And our zombie is dead. And then we can switch the forge back, discard our hands, and draw for this. This is actually the 3rd turn. I misspoke. This is the 3rd turn of the cycle. So this will be the last chance for Oros to use Shapeshift. And we just killed our own Darkheart Sorcerer, so let's play the level 2 version and level him up. We'll play in this blocking position. He'll die to that big Steadfast Wurm, but at least we won't take that 17 damage. Level 3 to the discard. And over here, we actually got the level 2 Everflame Phoenix. So it's got 0 attack, but 12 health, which means it can survive this 10-point attack. And if it survives to the end of this cycle, which will be the end of this turn, we basically get the Phoenix. So I guess we could hold it and not show our opponent we have it, because then we can't do anything, because we're the non-forge player this turn. So for now, maybe instead we play the Stabilizing Sculptor level 2. We're not going to be replacing anything, but we also don't have any spells in hand, so that first ability doesn't help us. But I do like this card, and I like leveling it up. And the second ability is going to let us reset this, which is going to take away 1 of its health and a bunch of attack. And we can just put it in that lane, and they can battle each other, and nobody's going to die. And then the Oros player is going to go a little wild. We're going to play Grave Pact for the action here. So it says destroy 1 of your creatures to give a creature -8/-8. So we'll destroy our own zombie in order to give this sculptor -8, so that 8 health is gone. And that was a spell, so we get to resolve the Darkheart Sorcerer trigger. This time the level 2 version is going to give us 3 health to go up to 18 and take away 3, putting them down to 22, making the game pretty close. So put that in our discard pile and level it up to 2. And now since we've gained health this turn, we can also play Zrath's Will for free level 2. If you gain health this turn, this is free, and you may play a zombie brute minion. So on the other side of the zombie is the zombie brute, which is a 6/6. And as the Forge player, we can put that into the front row. So let's threaten our opponent a little bit here like that. We'll level that up to 3. And that's also going to trigger the sorcerer. So we go up to 21 and completely turn the tables here, putting them down to 19. And because this is the last turn to do so, we may as well also use Oros to give something +3/+3. The creature types won't matter in this case. We could do the sorcerer because then the 6 attack will let it kill the worm. Or we could put it in the Delver to put it up to 8 attack with breakthrough. But I think let's go ahead and focus on killing the worm. So we're going to put this up to 6 and 13. Now still Rosetta's down to 19. I think we still just, the best thing is to play this Phoenix. And we can block 6 of that. So we may as well. So we'll upgrade that into the level 3 Phoenix. And just in case we don't actually get that out, you can take a look at that 15/15 bad boy there. We'll put this into the discard pile. Actually, we are going to bring it out because, so now we can resolve the combat. So that's 17 against 13 and 6 against 5. So these will trade. Then 6 attack against this 6 health. We'll put it down to 6. And the 5 attack directly is going to put us at 14. But now let's take a look at the Phoenix again. The level 2 says at the end of the cycle, replace this with your level 3 Phoenix. And we can do this at the perfect time because we're now ending the cycle. And that means we get to replace it. So pretty sure this will go to banish and this will go in play, I think with no damage on it. So we'll do that. And as we flip, it should move to the front, I believe. And we're going to reshuffle everything with these new level 3s and new level 2s that we didn't have before. We also get to ready our Forageborn. And as we start cycle 3 here, our Forageborn have access to their new levels, their cycle 3 abilities. The mobility 2 here is really nice as well because now we can move it anywhere we want. Having it in the middle is super good. I didn't do that on purpose, but it worked out. Although the other player will get the final say on where they play their creature. But let's make it hard on our opponent. We're just going to play a ton of big stuff. I'm going to play this Arrogant Glider. It's the level 2, so it's going to get +7 unopposed here. So making it 13 and leveling it up to 3. I think the best play we've got on this side is to play Necrotic Fiend. Level 2, it's a 6 attack and 3 health. And if it dies, we can give something +4/+4 and make a mindless zombie. And I guess we just put it against the creature that we know is there. We're already blocking the Phoenix, although could go anywhere. And still Rosetta's happy with that because that's not even big enough to kill the glider. So right now none of our creatures are threatened. So I think we're just going to play this big old Steadfast Wurm with 18 attack and 9 health. We'll just put it over here on the other end here and move the Phoenix to there. And you'll note that as we play this level 3 card, this one kind of came in through a weird way, but when you play this, normally we would level up our card as soon as we play it. Well, there's no level beyond 3, so we don't level it up, we don't put anything in our discard pile, and if this dies, it gets banished as normal, which means the Steadfast Wurm bloodline will just be out of our deck. So as you level up your cards, you get your level 3s, they're pretty much going to be one-time use. Now that I'm looking, we are playing this a little bit dangerously because if we take this damage, that's 11, which would put us at 2. If our opponent has any surprises, we could be dead. This is blocked, and we're dealing 33. But if they block even one of them, they only take 15 or 18 and still have health remaining. So we're putting ourselves in a precarious situation. Actually, if this dies before the combat, they get +4 on either of these, and we're dead. So I guess we can't do that. As much as I want to play aggressively with my massive things, I might need to just leave the Phoenix where it was. I think we're going to play the Hematophagic Creeper. So this is just a level 1, but it's still going to do some good work, I think. So let's level it up. And it's got 2 triggers, and we're going to resolve one at a time. And the first thing we're going to do is force our opponent to choose to either take 5 damage or destroy one of their creatures. And I don't think they're willing to take 5. Yeah, in fact, they cannot do so, because if we if they take 5 and then we destroy the Fiend, it can give +4/+4 to this unblocked Delver, which would hit them for 9, plus the 5 they took would be 14. So they have to destroy one of their creatures, and it might just make sense to let that be this Phoenix because it has the ability to come back. When it's destroyed, you go fetch the level 2 and put it back in the same lane. So they have the Phoenix kind of on a cycle here. And so they'll choose to destroy the Phoenix, get the Phoenix back at level 2, and then we will destroy the Fiend and gain 3 health. So it's going to put us up to 24. The Fiend will give +4, and I think we will still choose the Delver. So 9 and 10. And we get a zombie minion, which goes into the same lane here. We are going to take 18, which is quite a bit. That's going to put us down to 6. But we're dealing 9, which is going to put our opponent down to 5. Then this is going to go to 4 as it takes 3 damage from the zombie and kills it. And we're going to put 6 damage onto that Phoenix, so it'll have 6 health remaining. And the Brute will survive because this dead Phoenix doesn't deal any damage. So we can switch back and play turn 2. So Steel Rosetta is going to have to block here, but we have to block here and here, even though we're the aggressive player. We do have an aggressive creature, but it's only got 5 attack, which can't break through here and can only break through for 1 here, unless we deploy over something else. Replace something, we can give it +7/+7. We can use Infernal Ritual to move this zombie, basically kill this one and make 2 in the places where we want to block, which might be the best move. And then we're leaving this Phoenix open, but it doesn't matter if we win this turn. Opponent will have to block here. Anything they play here will be defensive unless they have aggressive. So let's give that a try. So I'm going to play Infernal Ritual, destroy one of my minions. On here, as I put this here, I totally forgot that I had played that Hematophagic Creeper. So for the sake of not rewinding, I think I'm going to put it here and have that slide forward because I didn't have anything there. We still took 18. And it was defensive, so now it's sliding forward. So that would have definitely been not optimal, but for the sake of not rewinding, I'm not going to mess with that. And I'm going to destroy a creature. I am going to destroy the Zombie Brute in order to make Zombie Brutes in each of these locations and give them +2 attack. So they will be 8, which is unfortunately still just 1 short of being able to kill that worm there. But we will upgrade the spell. And hopefully this time actually remember to put this where it's supposed to go. I think we're going to play Blizzard Shaman because it's the biggest health we've got. We want to try to block this Delver. So we'll upgrade that to level 3 and just put it into this, this lane here. But if we activate it, we're just killing our own glider at this point. I think on this side, we're going to go for a little bit of a gamble for Oros. We're going to play the Shardplate Delver at level 3. We're going to replace the Hematophagic Creeper. It's got Breakthrough, and we're going to get +7/+7. So it's going to be a 12/13. And it's got Breakthrough. So our opponent's going to have a lot of toughness there to block all 12 damage. But I think Steel Rosetta's got some tricks. So first of all, we're going to use Repurpose. It says choose a creature. If it is replaced this turn, you may reanimate it. And we're going to use that on our Everflame Phoenix. Again, that's a free action. Another free action is going to be to use Blizzard Shaman to deal 4 damage to all creatures. And I think this is going to work out. So it's going to go down to 2. It's going to go down to 5. It's going to go down to 3. This is going to die. So we're killing our own Arrogant Glider here. Going to go down to 2. This goes to 6. This goes to 9. This goes to 2. Hopefully we didn't kill ourselves with the trample on this one. But let's just do our plan now. And we're going to play the Undeady. So as long as we have a creature with decreased health, this is free. And so that's going to be a free action. It is aggressive. Oh, and you know what? It might not work. But for the sake of rounding this out, I already made the big Hematophagic Creeper mistake over on that side. So let's just play it out. I'm going to replace the Phoenix here. So this is aggressive, and we're replacing the Phoenix, but because of Repurpose, the Phoenix will come back. and now it has no damage on it. And then our actual action, well, we should upgrade the Undeady, just in case, you know, but we're going to play the Steadfast Warhound, upgrade that as well. And it says when we deploy it, we can, if it replaced a creature. Oh, I didn't replace it. So I guess what I meant to do, oh, but it would die. I meant to replace this glider and deal 3 damage, but now we can't. And if I'd replaced it first, it would have died from the 4 damage. But I'm too tired, I guess. Hopefully you've seen a good example of how SolForge Fusion plays and how you can definitely play better than I did, because I think the overall outcome of this situation here is going to be 2 damage against the 6, putting them down to 4. And then this 9 is going to break through over the remaining 3 health and deal 6 damage here to steal Rosetta and take her out. So some of these creatures are going to die, but the upside here is that Oros is the winner. Some big mistakes made on both sides that hopefully you would not make if you were playing just one side of the table and you weren't as tired as I am now. But anyway, thanks for watching. Stay tuned. When I do get my Kickstarter rewards, I will do probably a full tournament with probably randomized deck pairings and just see for fun how that pairs out. So thanks for watching. Subscribe so we can get more subscribers, and bye.